12 rectangles, all the same size, are arranged to make a square, as shown in the diagram. Calculate the area of one of the rectangles. So the area of a shape is the amount of space that it takes up, or the amount of stuff that's inside a shape. And we can find the area by first working out the area of the larger square. So working out 50 times 50, that gives us 2,500. And then we can work out the area of this smaller square that's inside by working out 40 times 40. That's 1,600. So we know that the total area inside the red rectangle is 2,500 and inside the blue rectangle is 1,600. So if we find the difference, that will give us the total area of the 12 rectangles together. So 2,500 minus 1,600 is 900. So of the area inside this red rectangle, we have the bit that's in the square, so that's 1,600, and we have the 12 rectangles, which is 900 altogether. So if 12 rectangles have an area of 900 centimeters squared, we can find the area of one rectangle by dividing 900 by 12, and that gives us 75. So the area of a small rectangle is 75 centimeters squared. Now the other way to work this out is to work out the width and length of one rectangle. So we can see that we have a width here and a width here. So we can see that a width plus 40 plus another width needs to give a total of 50, because we have 50 centimeters all the way across. So that means the two widths together must be 10 centimeters, because 10 plus 40 is 50, and if two widths are 10 centimeters, 10 divided by 2 is 5, so the width of a rectangle is 5 centimeters. Now, if we look at this top line, we have a width, so that will be 5 centimeters plus 3 lengths, and that gives a total of 50 centimeters. So 5 centimeters plus the 3 lengths totals 50. That means 3 lengths must have a total of 45 centimeters, because 5 plus 45 is 50. And if 3 lengths have a total of 45, we can find the length of one rectangle by dividing 45 by 3. So that gives us the length of a rectangle as 15 centimeters. So we've worked out that the width is 5 and the length is 15. And to work out the area of a rectangle, we multiply the length by the width. So we can multiply 15 by 5, and that gives us our answer, 75 centimeters squared. Here is a cube. The cube is shaded all the way round so that the top half is grey and the bottom half is white. Here is the net of the cube. Complete the shading. So we have a whole face coloured in here, so that will be the face at the top of our cube. Now we can shade this half of this face, because that will be the face round this side that we can't see. We can shade half of this face here, because that will be the half that's shaded here. And then if we think how we're going to make our cube, if this is the top, then this face will fold round so that this edge will cover this edge here. And that means this half of this face will be shaded as well, because that's the face at the front that we can see. And this face will fold round and cover this edge here, so we need to fold this half as well. Join pairs of equivalent fractions. One is done for you. So they've told us that 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. So which fraction is equivalent to 6/15? Well, the best approach for this question is to simplify the fractions that we have. And then, if the fractions simplify to the same fraction, we know that they will be equivalent. Remember, we can simplify fractions by dividing both the numerator and denominator by the same number. And 6 and 15 are both in the 3 times table, so we can divide both the numerator and denominator by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, 15 divided by 3 is 5, so we found that 6/15 is the same as 2/5, so we can match these fraction cards here. Now we have 14 over 21. We can simplify this because 14 and 21 are multiples of 7. So if we divide both the numerator and denominator by 7, we get 2/3. Now we don't have a fraction card which shows 2/3, but that doesn't matter. Let's just go on to the next fraction card, and then perhaps one of these other fraction cards will also simplify to 2/3. So next we have 25 over 30. Both of those numbers are multiples of 5, so we can simplify to 5/6. We don't have a card showing 5/6, but let's carry on because perhaps one of these fraction cards will simplify to 5/6. So now we have 8/12. 8 and 12 are both in the 4 times table, so that simplifies to 2/3. And we found that 14 over 21 simplifies to 2/3 as well, so we know that these fractions will be the same size, so equivalent. And finally, we have 10/12. Both 10 and 12 are in the 2 times table, so that simplifies to 5/6, and we found that 25 over 30 simplifies to 5/6 as well, so that means these fractions are also the same size, also equivalent. The diagram shows a shaded triangle inside a rectangle. What is the area of the shaded triangle? So the area is the amount of space that a shape takes up, and the way to find the area of a triangle is to multiply the base by the height and then divide by 2. So for the shaded triangle, we're told that the base is 4, and we can see that the height is the same as the width of a rectangle, so the height is 6 centimeters. So we can multiply 4 by 6 and then divide by 2. 4 times 6 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. So the area of the shaded triangle is 12 centimeters squared. Now we could also work out that this triangle, this white triangle, will have an area of 30 centimeters squared because 10 times 6 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. And we could work out this white triangle here. We know that this length is 4, so 4 plus whatever this length here is has to be the same as 10 centimeters. And 4 plus 6 is 10, so this length is 6 centimeters. And this length will be the same as this length here, because that's a rectangle, so we have 6 centimeters as our height as well. So 6 times 6 is 36, divided by 2 is 18. So we could work out the area of the shaded triangle by working out the area of the rectangle, so that's 6 times 10, so 60, and then if we subtract 30 and 18 from 60, that will give us 12, because 30 plus 18 is 48, and 60 minus 48 is 12. G stands for a number on a grey card. W stands for a number on a white card. Join all pairs of numbers that match this rule. 2G plus W equals 10. 1 is done for you. So remember, 2g means 2 times g. So 2 times g plus w needs to total 10. And that makes sense because if we look at the one that they've done for us, g, the grey card, is 1, and 2 times 1 plus 8 is 10. So now let's see if we can match the number 2 on the grey card. So that gives us 2 times 2 plus w equals 10. 2 times 2 is 4, so the white card will need to be 6. And if we look at the number 3 for the grey card, then we have 2 times 3, or 3 times 2, so that's 6, and 6 plus 4 is 10. And if the grey card is 4, then we have 2 times 4, or 4 times 2, plus w is 10, so that's 8 plus 2 is 10, so we need to match 4 and 2. Now if the grey card is 5, 2 times 5 is 10, so w would be 0. But we don't have a white card for 0, so we don't need to join the number 5, and if we put in the number 6, that would give us 12, which is more than 10. And we don't have any negative numbers on our white cards, so we don't need to join any more cards. Here is a parallelogram on a 1 centimeter square grid. What is the area of the parallelogram? So the area of a shape is the amount of space that it takes up. And the area of a parallelogram we find in the same way as the area of a rectangle. So that's the base multiplied by the height. We can see that the base is 4 squares and the height, so the distance from top to bottom, is 3 squares. So to find the area, we have 4 times 3, so that's an area of 12 centimeters squared. Now to see why the area of a parallelogram is the same as the area of a rectangle, what we can do is split our parallelogram into 2 pieces, and then we can see that if we move this piece here, then we can make a rectangle. And we can do this with every parallelogram. We can cut off the end, move it, and we have a rectangle. So that's why the formula for finding the area of a parallelogram is the same as finding the area of a rectangle. Jack is rounding to the nearest 100,000. Write the smallest whole number that he can round to 3,400,000. So we have 3,350,000, because if we're rounding to the nearest 100,000, we find our 100,000s digit, so that's the 6th digit from the right, and then to decide whether we round up or down, we look at the digit to the right. If it's 5 or more, we round up. So the smallest digit that we can have in this place value in our 10,000s is a 5, because that means that we can round up, so the 3 becomes a 4. And then we want zeros in our thousands, hundreds, tens and ones to make the number as small as possible. Now, Grace is rounding to the nearest 100,000. Write the largest whole number that she can round to 3,400,000. So that's 3,449,999. If we're rounding to the nearest 100,000, we find our 100,000s digit and look to the right. If it's 4 or less, we round down. So the largest digit that we can have here, that means that we still round down, so this 4 stays a 4, is a 4, because if we have 4, we round down. And then we want 9s in our thousands, hundreds, tens and ones, because we want to make the largest whole number possible. The cost to hire a boat on a lake is worked out using the information below. So the cost to hire a boat is £4.50 per boat and then £3.50 per hour. 4 friends hire a boat for 5 hours. They share the cost equally. How much does each person pay? Well, first, let's work out how much it costs to hire a boat for 5 hours. We know that it's £4.50 and then £3.50 per hour. So for 5 hours, that would be 5 times £3.50. 5 times £3.50 is £17.50. And if we add that to £4.50, we get £22. So the 4 friends need to pay £22 to hire the boat. But that's 4 friends, and we need to work out how much each person pays. So we can divide £22 by 4, and that gives us £5.50. So that's how much they each need to pay. Chen's family hires a boat and pays a total of £15. How many hours did they have the boat for? So it's £4.50 per boat and then £3.50 per hour. So after 1 hour, that would be £8 because £4.50 plus £3.50 is £8. Then if they want the boat for another hour, that's another £3.50. So that takes us to £11.50. And then for a third hour, we can add another £3.50, and that takes us to £15. So because Chen's family pays a total of £15, we know that they must have had the boat for 3 hours.